Hey there, boys and girls. Welcome to Miss Etta's Academic Corner. Yay! We see all of you. Yes, and here is Judah Sr. and Judah Jr. Judah Jr., you're growing up. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. So, we want to say hi, Kenya. Hi, Bree. Hi, Connor. We see you. And we see all the boys and girls that have come to read with us. Yes, I am so thankful for you two who have always showed up. And we want to just say thank you. Today we're going to read a book. It's a character you guys have a seat here. It's a character we've read before, which his name was Jessup. And now we're going to read about Jessup Christmas Mess Up. Boys and girls, it doesn't matter if Christmas has passed, you still can read about the holidays. So this book is called Jessup Christmas Mess Up. And remember, we get comfortable and we take a look at the book before we start reading it. This is a softback book. That means it bends back and forth. We look at the colors, really pretty colors. We see red, we see green, we see white, we see gold, yellow. We see a dog down here. We see who we believe is Jessup, but we know it's Jessup because we've seen Jessup before. And Jessup's Christmas Mess Up. And this is a book by, remember, a good friend of mine's, April Clompton Finn. That's the author. And remember, the author is the person that writes the book. Now, Jessup, in this book, tomorrow is Christmas morning. So this means that he's having this adventure on Christmas Eve. Jessup has been trying really hard to be on his best behavior today, especially since he would like to get that super cool and totally awesome bike he's been asking for. Not only will he get his special gift, but Father also has assured him that if he continues to be a good boy, he will be able to open all the presents he would like. But what will happen if he cannot behave? That's a question. Will he get that fancy bicycle he's been waiting so long for? And what will happen to all the presents? Okay. So that's on the back of the book. That tells us, that's a summary. A summary tells you in a short version what the book is about. So let's open up this book. Jessup's Christmas Mess Up. Okay. Remember the author, created by Miss April Clompton Finn. And we have in it that it's a work of fiction. That's her note. And she has a website. The website, in case your parents are interested in, is www.aprilrainshowers.com. I'm going to spell it. A-P as in Paul, R-I-L-R-E-I-G, N as in Nancy, showers.com. And she has a dedication in the book. Let's read what it says. This book is dedicated to all of you who have supported me by bringing Jessup into your homes. Without you, Jessup would have no need to continue his adventures and antics. I would also like to say thank you to the many parents who've shared reports of the reliability of Jessup's actions in their lives. Relatability, that's the word. So when you can't get a word, just keep sounding it out until you get it. Relatability of Jessup's actions in their lives. I am ever grateful. Thank you to my dear friends and family for your encouragement and keeping the faith with me. However, my most important thank you is to the children. For the love of Jessup has been confirmed through their giggles and their laughter. That's really nice for her to dedicate the book to the children. Jessup, don't mess up, Mother called across the way. She had straightened the house from top to bottom, for Christmas was Christmas Day. For tomorrow was Christmas Day. She was baking pies and cookies, and the house smelled delicious. Just a few more forks and spoons, and she'd be finished with the dishes. So Mom is washing the dishes, and it's Christmas Eve, right? I'm not going to mess up, said Jessup, as he zoomed down the hall. There's no riding scooters in the house. Mother yelled, get off before you fall. I'm not going to fall, Jessup moaned. I've done this before. He kicked off to get more speed, but stopped short of the office door where... Now, this don't sound good to me. Mom says slow down, and Jessup keeps going. You know what happens when your parents tell you stop doing something and you keep doing it? That's right. Think about it. Where Father had been busy all day, wrapping presents by the dozens, for headed over on Christmas morn was Grandma and Grandpa, aunties and uncles, and many, many cousins. Jessup, you've really been good today, Father said from the other side. So listen to what Mother tells you, or tomorrow you won't get that surprise. That's Dad wrapping gifts. So Mom's finishing up the dishes. Dad is wrapping gifts. Jessup's riding the house on the scooter. Jessup knew in an instant what Father was talking about. So today he had been on his best behavior. Of that he had no doubt. He asked, do you mean that super cool and totally awesome bike? Yup, that's the one, Father said. And you can open all the presents you like. So Jessup is on one side of the door, and Dad is on the other, wrapping the gifts and presents. Full of excitement, he grabbed his scooter and headed down the hall. It bumped and banged back and forth, leaving scuff marks along the wall. Whoa, Jessup, what you doing? Racing up the stairs with Jackson in tow. He ran into his room and he slammed the door. And from behind it came crashes, drags, and booms. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What do you guys think happened? Take a guess. Come on, can you guess? Let's see. Mother, standing at the sink, nearly jumped out of her skin. Father, writing up Christmas tags, groaned, oh no, not again. They bumped into each other as they ran into the hall. Mother jumped once again as Jessup's name Father called. So the parents are running to see what all that noise is about. Excuse me. And in doing so, they bumped into each other. Wow. Jessup, what's all that racket, son? He said as he reached the door. But when he pushed it open, there was not a single toy on the floor. Mother had been holding her breath. With a worried look on her face, she gave a big sigh of relief when she saw everything is in its place. So you see the stairs, there's nothing going on. Oh, so it seems. And that included Jessup with Jackson at his feet. He was dressed, all ready for bed, and he had even brushed his teeth. Kneeling down, he said his prayers. Then he hopped into his bed, Jackson following right behind, snuggled up beside his head. So if you didn't get it yet, Jackson is the dog. That's his pet dog. His dog's named Jackson. I like that name for a dog. Then they tippy-toe. Nope, getting ready to skip a page. He pulled the covers up to his chin and yawned. A great big yawn. He turned the light off beside his bed, and just like that, Jessup was gone. He had fallen fast asleep right before their eyes. Mother gently kissed his cheek, and Father stared with surprise. They still haven't figured out where that noise came from. So Jessup fell asleep. Mommy gave him a good night kiss. Dad is looking. It's nice when you get tucked into bed by your parents, right? Then they tiptoed across the room. Not a peep had Jessup heard. Silently, they closed the door, while never speaking a word. They walked quietly throughout the night, still in amazement and awe. For what was seen was a Christmas miracle, the best thing they ever saw. So they sneaked out of the room, being real quiet. Mother hummed as she raced to finish all that needed to be done. Father put the last tag on a present right at 1:15. With a plate of gingerbread cookies and milk that filled the glass, they were able to climb into bed. Finally, at last. So who's the gingerbread cookies for and the milk? Who are they leaving it for? Come on, let's guess. It's Christmas Eve. It's going into Christmas morning. Then they kissed each other good night. And they said their prayers too. But by the time they fell asleep, it was already 2:30. Father was first to fall asleep, dreaming dreams of Christmas delights. With curlers underneath her cap, Mother dreamt of a silent night. So Mother's dreaming of a quiet night. She's got angels up in her head. Dad's dreaming of that apple pie. He's thinking about the food he's going to eat. Outside, the snow was falling over a world that has no cares. That include Mother and Father, who did not hear the creaking of the stairs. Jessup was now fully awake. He had made his way into the den. Wow, he said, with a mouthful of cookies and milk running down his chin. So Jessup is eating the cookies. Okay. For there it was, that super cool and totally awesome bike. And right beside it under the tree was all the presents he would like. I'm going to pull you out, he said, and take you for a spin. In the room, Mother stirred, but fell asleep again. So Jessup, like most kids, is up before his parents on Christmas Day. He's over there by the gifts. He's thinking about what he's going to do. I don't know if you can see it, but the bike is right in there. So he's got a lot of gifts, and there's a bike right there. Jessup hopped onto his bike and took it for a ride. Father, still dreaming of Christmas delight, snuggled over into his side. After a few laps around the den, Jessup had had enough, for there were still all those presents and stockings full of stuff. Now, how you? I don't know. I'm feeling some kind of way about Jessup riding that bike in the house around that den. Stuff like chocolates and lollipops, a ball and stickers and gum, ribbon candy and peppermint sticks, and even a water gun. Jessup reached into each one. From every piece, he took a bite. Then, while chewing on some bubble gum, he began opening all the presents he would like. You know how it is when you're opening up your presents? Sometimes you open them fast. You just keep ripping them open, opening the paper, opening the boxes. The smile across his tiny face was just as big as his joy, for he knew that on yesterday he had been a really, really, really good boy. The very first present he had opened taking his time, but then he opened another and another as though he lost his mind. So that means he started opening them fast. And Jackson's there right with him. Mother slowly opened her eyes, blinking away to sleep. Suddenly remembering what day it was, she sprang onto her feet. Jessup had awakened before her on this Christmas morn, and there was no doubt the sound she heard was the blaring of a horn. So Mom's trying to pull herself together. Father, now half awake, thought, this has to be a dream. I only just fell asleep, he half cried. It can't be possible, but what it seems. His imagination was running wild, and he sat straight up. He had a vision in his mind, but not of sugar plums in his head. Oh, what was Dad thinking about? Ooh, let's hurry up and turn this page and find out. Jessup struck the cymbal next, and Jackson began to bark. Mother and father stumbled over each other as they raced around in the dark. Mother grabbed her bathrobe, while father did the same in kind. Together they headed out the door, afraid of what they might find. The sound of crying reached them next. As they hurried down the hall, the baby doll wailed, and the train choo-chooed as Jessup bounced his ball. But as soon as they both reached the den, they stopped right in their tracks. For all the presents underneath the tree, Jessup had unwrapped. Ooh, he unwrapped all of them. But were all the gifts meant for Jessup? Remember, they had company coming over. There was paper and toys a scatter. Grandpa's Christmas sweater, too, along with things for Auntie and Uncle and only one of someone's shoe. There was a box addressed to Mother, with half of the chocolates gone. Mother looked around with tearful eyes and cried, "Jessup, what have you done?" Jessup opened everybody's gifts, not just his own. She looked out and saw the empty glass along with the empty plate, and then it happened. The doorbell rang just as the clock struck 8. Mother was in a panic, and father opened the door, but grandfather strolled in as usual, ignoring the mess on the floor. So they had a mess on the floor. All the gifts are open. Here's grandpa. Ooh, things are getting out of control. Oh, my goodness. Mom still got rollers in her hair. He took a seat on the sofa as grandmother followed in. She held the bag in each hand, and on her face was a great big grin. Father closed the door behind her. Outside the snow was blowing. She removed her coat and then her hat and sang, "We had better get going." So, seems like Grandma knew something was going to be up. Mother looked around the room, still a bit surprised. "Where are we going?" she thought to herself. "They have only just arrived." "We're going to wrap some presents," sang Grandmother as she reached into her bags, and out of them she pulled out paper, tape, bowls, and tags. Wow. Grandma was prepared. Good thing she came with everything. Jessup sprang up, running first, ready to lend a hand. As father followed close behind him, Mother began to understand, for everyone had started to rewrapping all the items on the floor. Even grandfather lent a hand, as if he had done this before. So now everybody was wrapping gifts, rewrapping them, because Jessup had opened all the gifts. They barely finished in nick of time. Everybody came to see them. Oh, look, wow, wow, wow. Everybody's there. And so now they're going to have a great Christmas and a happy New Year. So here, Jessup, Christmas Mess Up. We thank you for joining us. And remember, you can read this at any time. Thanks, boys and girls.